It's Need for Speed Hot Pursuit.
It's Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. Released in November of 2010, Hot Pursuit is a crossover game if there ever was one. I mean, I think obsessing over cars is something for guys with small cars, and you couldn't pay me to watch a Vin Diesel movie. But I gotta tell you, that's probably only because I'd be too busy playing
Need for Speed Hot Pursuit.
Of course, it does help if your engines rev over things like car models and nitrous systems, and that's because Hot Pursuit is mostly about how sweet cars are. In fact, this is about as close as you can get to a car commercial without hiring models and a dramatic voice actor. But under the hood, Hot Pursuit is an exhilarating racing game with gameplay mechanics you don't need to be a mechanic to appreciate. Hot Pursuit is a pretty significant release for the Need for Speed franchise. This game has received far better reviews than any recent game in the series, and if you ask me, that's because Hot Pursuit was assembled from a fresh retrospective, if that makes any sense. The game was developed by the British studio Criterion Games, a studio perhaps best known for its racing titles, specifically the Burnout series. And sometimes it takes a new team to take a franchise in a new direction, or in this case, an old one. Hot Pursuit goes back to the roots of the Need for Speed series, returning the gameplay to those thrilling cops and racers chases that made the original Hot Pursuit game so much fun. Hot Pursuit is set in Seacrest County, a haven for drivers who blast down the highways at full throttle, and a place where speeders are so common they're actually ranked on a scale of 1 to 20. I mean, it's basically just a fantasy world for Paul Walker fans, a place where the only people who drive faster than the criminals are the law. Only in this case, I am the law.
I am the law.
That's another cool thing about this game. The good folks at Criterion didn't try to wedge a story into Hot Pursuit. Evidently, they realized there really is no place for stories in racing after seeing The Fast and the Furious, so they didn't sabotage things by trying to add one. You can choose whatever missions you want to play, and they include races as both criminals and cops. You want some kind of explanation for that? It's because driving fast and crashing into shit is awesome! But the game is really made by its driving mechanics. This is an arcade-style racing game, which means it's pretty easy, and which means it's also fun. You can accelerate and brake, and that's really all you need to know. In fact, Hot Pursuit actually has a lot in common with Mario Kart, including the use of on-road weapons and focus on ruthlessness. The more cars you crash and cops you run off the road, the more points you earn. You're basically rewarded for playing like a criminal, which makes the game immensely enjoyable. So the controls are simple, the game is fast, and there's no pointless story. All great stuff. But what's even cooler about Hot Pursuit is the game's auto log feature, a system that keeps you connected to your friends in some pretty interesting new ways. Auto log lets you see how you compare to your friends and what they're doing in the game, but all with an intuitive new interface that borrows heavily from social networking sites. You can post on a friend's wall with your accomplishments or your times or your challenges. It's a fantastic idea that both creates a sense of community and increases the game's lasting value. To me, Hot Pursuit does everything you'd want a racer to do and more. The racing mechanics are great, the game looks fantastic, and there's enough online features to keep you racing virtual friends until the cops show up.